Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I have the pleasure, and I ask everyone to help me welcome multi-division champion, current reigning defending WBA super welterweight world champion, Hanna Gabriel. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me and everybody that is coming in to the live cast. Please, thank you so much for coming by, and I hope that this interview um, is a good one that you enjoy.
Absolutely. Hey, Hannah, first and foremost, I know it's the holiday season. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you for pulling
Thank
up
you
to
so
World Combat
much.
Sports for the interview.
It is my pleasure. The same to you all. This year is. I think we should be very grateful about being alive and being healthy.
Yep.
And it's a great year to acknowledge that. But thank you so much.
Hey, how you been holding up during this pandemic? I seen that you had a fight there, Hannah. I was looking forward to seeing you back in the square. You was about to step in there and square off against Raquel Miller, the interim champion. Why did that fight fall out?
You got cut off, but I guess you're talking about the fight that was happening in December.
Yeah, I said you was can you hear me, can you hear me fine now?
Yeah.
Yes, you were supposed to step back in the square against Raquel Miller, which was a very good fight people was looking forward to. It was on UFC Fight Pass, right? What happened to that fight? Why did it fall out?
Apparently, because the governor, I don't know if that's how you say it, but the people from Nevada, they closed Vegas for some reason. I know that there has been happening some fights and everything, but what I've been told is that Vegas being closed, so the event couldn't happen. So I'm still looking forward to fight Raquel. I'm not backing, you know, backing down. That's how you say it, backing down.
Yeah, correct.
And the event fall off, not the fight, because I'm still willing to fight her.
Do you know when they will, how long it's going to take for them to reschedule that fight? Is it going to be, obviously it's going to be 2021 in a different location, right?
Yeah, well, this year has been very a lot of uncertainty. They have been trying to put me in a court since May this
Mm,
year. Then it was
wow.
July. Then it was August. Then it was September. Then it was October. And here we are. I think that we all have to acknowledge the fact that this year has been very difficult and very um like everything is just doesn't go as everybody plans, and
Yeah.
everybody's trying to make a big effort to make things happen and everything, but there's a certain things that you cannot control. So in my behalf, I'm trying to be patient, and I'm trying to understand where my promoter is coming from, my manager, my team. My team has to understand where am I coming from, because I haven't been fighting. So my sparring partners, I usually pay them to come to train, and right now they're just being here for me, and later we'll
Yeah.
deal with that. So I believe that this is a chain, and if we are able to have a little bit of empathy, then we can try to be a little bit more patient. I know it's been very difficult for me, coming from a country, where boxing is not big, and there's not a lot of sponsorship support. But uh the two sponsors that I have are amazing, and they have my back, and somehow, in a very beautiful way, God knows how to show me, that He hasn't abandoned me. And my job is to train. My job is to be ready, and my job is to be able to take advantage of the opportunities when they show. So I'm not, I'm not thinking too much about the things that we are losing, or the opportunities that are being missed. But I'm looking forward to meet the ones that are coming.
Okay. Hey, well said there, Hannah. I was just thinking, since '07, since you started your boxing career, I think this is the first year that you haven't competed in a single match.
I know it's awful. I'm hating it. And with all this stress that the COVID-19 has brought to all of us, for a boxer, trust me, it's very, very difficult. We need to we need to fight.
Yeah.
We need those
I can't
punches.
imagine. I can't imagine how you felt when you found out the event was off, man. You every time I see you in public, the last time I seen you was at Madison Square Garden, right? So when you walked into the room, we was all trying to get an interview with you, right? And you say, "Yeah, I get an interview, but you need to interview my husband first because he was on the card." After you interview my husband, then you can interview me. I mean, I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool how the way you handle that.
I, it was. I was actually flattered that there was some attention to me, because I don't see myself like that. But of course, I'm a person that respects everybody, and he was really working hard for that fight, and we went through a lot, and I thought that he deserved the attention. My husband, I believe, is probably the most talented in my eyes. It's just I've seen him do so many great stuff, and I train with him every day, and I truly admire his abilities and his intelligence in the ring. And everything that I've learned, everything, because of in the last probably 3 years, I have advanced so much, and it's thanks to his teachings and his effort as well. So I couldn't just take away his spot. And I thank you so much for understanding that, and thinking that it was a nice thing to do.
Hey, nah, you handled that like a boss. I was like, okay, that's what's up. All of us was looking at each other like, dang, okay, cool. But I appreciate the interview for the first time, man. It was cool speaking with you on that day, and also I had the opportunity to interview your husband. I wanted to ask you this though. You had a fight with Carissa Shields, which was at a higher weight. You've been champion at welterweight division and the super welterweight division, but you moved up to middleweight. And I remember this fight coming on board, and everybody was talking about it. And though you didn't win the fight there, Hannah, but you was able to be the first female to actually catch Carissa Shields and drop her. What was going through your mind at that time when you was able to knock her down? And how did that fight feel to you after the knockdown heading into the final rounds?
Well, it is funny, because I took that fight because I wanted to be known in the States. Like, I know that my name was heard, but I never had a platform where I can showcase my skills.
Yeah.
And they needed a champion that was smaller, and that they thought that she will finish soon. And I remember seeing videos of her saying, well, she's too old, she's too weak, I'm stronger, I'm bigger, I'm younger, I'm this and that, and I'm gonna finish her in the fifth round, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And those months of training, the camp was very um it wasn't a good camp. We didn't have much. The nutrition was really bad. I was eating whatever we had,
Mm.
and the support was really bad until like the last 15 days before the fight. And so I was able to cover some things, like taking the care of my daughter, and several things that needed to be done so that I could be there. And I never thought that I had the strength or the ability to put her down, but I know like I said, I always say that I know that I'm not the strongest fighter, but I must be in the top 5 of intelligence, you know.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
even though, even though I never had an amateur career, only have one fight.
Yeah.
I believe that my uh, the way I have advanced in the technical way, technically I've advanced so much, and I don't think that's easy to do when you don't have a background like they have, right?
Correct.
And we what we did is we wanted our strategy to rely on speed because we didn't think we were strong enough. And people is I think people got very surprised about me putting her in the floor, but I would like people to look at the whole fight because we were landing much more punches. They weren't power punches because I wasn't supposed to be stronger anyways, right?
Correct.
And boxing is truly about so much more than, putting somebody in the ground or just the power punches as it is the managing of the distance, the ability to go in and to, place punches where normally you wouldn't have the opportunity to, so I think that the fight was close. It's not that I don't think I won. Is just that, to be fair, I think it was really, really, really close fight. My strategy and my way of boxing and everything was different from hers. So I think that um you cannot be check a fight and just um qualify it the same, because
Yeah.
our resources are different. But and after that fight, I felt good because I did a good job. I think that I was everything that they didn't expect, and I can't wait for the rematch, but in my division, in my territory.
Correct. I know you can't wait for it. I mean, you stay motivated. You're 37 years old. And I was just thinking about you when you had this fight coming up and then heard it was canceled. The event was canceled because potentially I think Vegas is going back into a shutdown, right?
Yes,
So yeah, let me ask you this there, Hannah. What do you think about the state of women's boxing right now? I mean, if there was like a checklist, at least 3 items that you can mark off in women's boxing, what would it be, to improve the sport and bring more notoriety to you all?
I think that, well, first of all, we need to get just the same value, right? Like, just one of the excuses that they use is that people don't want to see female boxing, and I believe that is a lie. I believe that somehow uh, the men in boxing, um, they have gotten like very comfortable, and they go to
Yeah.
the fight and they just fight. They're not even worried about making a good fight to give it all, right? Because they get paid and they get paid well. They get paid well. They get the exposure just because, and you don't even have to be a good person, a good role model for you to get that, right? And one of the things that, and I agree with Clarissa and some of the fighters, is that we as women, we are not allowed to be any of that. We have to be, we are not allowed to get paid a lot, but even if we were paid or we were famous, um, it is normal for a guy to, after a fight, go and have big party with women, drugs, and all of this. And if a woman was to do that, they will destroy her, you know.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
there's so many things that it's not that I want to, have a party with drugs and all that. I'm just saying, um, the difference in about what we can or we cannot do is very big, and how that those things can bring us up or bring us down is also a big difference. And I believe we need to have the 3 minute round. I just saw a comment that said 3 minute round.
Yeah.
I train, we usually do 15 to 18 rounds of 5 minutes here of training.
Okay.
My husband trains almost 20 rounds of 6 minutes in one sparring session with different people and everything, because not everybody's used to do that. So I'm more than sure that I can deal with 3 minutes easily. And the other day, I have a coach. His name is Evan Stobler. He's a conditioning coach. He's from Texas. And I remember him saying, "Well, in that fight with Clarissa, the only thing is that you got tired." And I was
Hmm.
like, "Coach, I was doing speed the whole fight. Of course, I was a little tired. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
my strategy was on going in, blah, 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 hitting, getting out, moving. Of course, you get tired, but um, we have to fight in 2 minutes, and that is not enough time to do everything. You don't even. It's like everything is so rushy. I don't know. It's just uncomfortable. And I just hope that people understand that we just have the same capabilities, and we're supposed to be allowed to just, have the opportunity to have longer longer rounds so that we can prepare them to, for a knockout, and do greater stuff, with a little bit more, um I don't know, it is like calm, a little more calm.
Do you think the women that are on that level of professional boxer, do y'all need to bond together and talk to the people to make those changes to get the 3 minute rounds so that you can get paid more? Because just like the comments in the chat, um, I know kind of local sports say if it's 3 minute rounds, they need to compensate them accordingly. What do you think it needs to take? You all need to band together and go in as a group collectively and say, hey, we're more than conditioned. We're more than the top tier athletes to go in here and fight 3 minute rounds.
I'll
Um,
tell you what, the World Boxing Association agrees with a 3 minute rounder. If
okay.
I ask for a 3 minute rounder, they'll back me up. And I want 3 minute rounders from now on. So if Raquel wants to fight me, she has to go 3 minutes with me. And
Okay.
after we do 3 minutes, then it is easy to go 12 rounder. And of course, but I believe I agree that um if we fight more, maybe they think that there's more value and they pay us more. But I think that if you guys check it, we have to do 2 or 3 times the job or train harder. I was once in Big Bear with Abel Sanchez when Brian was training
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and I remember training so hard because I wanted to deserve the spot. And then Triple G got into the gym, and I wasn't allowed to go into the gym because apparently um he didn't allow women in the gym because he would get distracted, as if was my fault or something like that. And I was really disappointed because I was training harder than all of them.
Yeah.
And that is never enough, right? So I don't think it's not even about a one more minute of fight. It's just about recognizing that we have the same value, that we are receiving punches, that we are trying to make it, that we want better quality of life, that we want better future for our families, just as the guys do.
Hey, that's unfortunate, Hannah. Some of us consider Triple G as that prima donna, but unfortunately, in a male dominated sport, collectively, we're talking about the amount of fighters per division comparable to the women. It can get like that. Unfortunately, you had to go through that and experience what you did, but it's good that it didn't deter you to keep on boxing, because some women might have, discouraged. You know what I'm saying?
The obstacles have always been there, but when people say, oh, don't you get mad because you get paid less and this and that, and I was like, well, I don't get mad because I'm part of a process. You know, many of the women before me didn't have the benefits that I can, and I'm not talking about the economical benefits only. I'm talking about how people view women's boxing today, and you know, it's just that the stereotypes and all the prejudice. That's how you
Yeah,
said.
prejudice. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
has go down a lot, and they didn't have that. And hopefully, one day my daughter or my granddaughter or my granddaughter will enjoy the benefits of what I'm doing right now. And I'm not into using the platform or the few or the very little exposure that I'm able to get right now onto making scenes. I'm not into talking stuff and everything. I believe that every time I get a chance to do that, I should be able to lead by example and show people that we boxers are not dumb, because that's the idea many of the times, women,
Correct.
men, whatever.
Correct.
And a little further, that women are actually, that they can be everything, and they should be everything they want to be. And I don't know, I want in the future, then when my daughter sees a fight of mine or a conference of mine, I want her to I want her to understand what I tell her every day. I want her to be like, oh yeah, my mom always told me that, and this is the she showed me. She was acting like that. She was really true to what she thought. She was not about making a scene to make some more dollars. She was really true to herself and what she believed. And I think that makes a difference in the long term.
True words. You have a lot of people that's coming to support you in this interview, that Hannah. Kind of local sports, Michael Johnson boxing and more. Black and brown boxing in the building. Um, King Mitch, James Woolery. They're basically leaving, the boxing comments for you.
Oh,
They didn't fit, they felt some type of way about Triple G. They say Triple G full of crap. You know what I'm saying? you know.
but I believe that it wasn't him, like said, get her out. I think that's like the deal that Abel had with Triple G, and that was the narrative that they told me. So I wasn't allowed in the gym anymore, and I was really disappointed. But hey, that's the way some people act, and they have their reasons. I'm sure, and I'm aware that it is not my fault, because if somebody gets distracted, it's just, they don't have the they are not able to dominate their own selves about some stuff, and that has nothing to do with me. But sometimes, stuff like that happens, and we just have to deal with it. But I'm me, and I'm still here, and I'm still gonna be here probably in the next 4 or 5 years.
So you plan on staying in the super welterweight division, or do you plan on campaigning again up to middleweight?
Well, I've been in the champion in this division for almost 10 years. The only time that I wasn't a champion was when I lost by knockout by Oxandia Castillo, and then I got pregnant. So that was about, I don't know, almost a year. But
Castillo was your first loss, right?
Oxandia was my first loss. Yeah. And I believe I want to be 5 more years, but I want to be undisputed in my division. I've been waiting for this. There's so much less. There's so few money in women's boxing than that when a woman gets a title, they hold on to it,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to fight like many of the men that are champion. They don't want to fight, um, big competition because they know they'll have a chance that they lose it, right?
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
and that happened all of these years. The champions in my division never wants to fight me. Now that Clarissa is going down and she's going for her goal, is my chance to get it. So I'm not letting go on that for sure. Then after I become the champion, I might go back in 160 and see what's up.
All
I
right,
would
for
like
sure.
to
That
go back
sounds
there.
good. That sounds good to know because you still have a lot of fight left in you. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got to move back up to 60 and pick up those belts, you know?
I think it would be like the other day Clarissa was like, well, my toughest fight was Diva, the hard hitting Diva.
Yeah.
She's Franchon Cruz.
Tran Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, whatever. We went 10 rounds, girl, and you couldn't knock me down like you wanted. You couldn't back up all of your words. And I know that my fight was a very problematic fight for her. And the reason why that fight haven't happened is just they waiting for me to get older. And I'm still getting old. I'm still getting older and whatever. But I have a lot in me. I just recently, just right now, I'm kind of understanding what it is to be in the ring and to feel comfortable and actually to get comfortable with myself, with the things that I'm doing, and I know I have a lot to learn. And I just want to see what is the limit on that. My
Yeah.
my goal is not to be my goal is not Clarissa's goal or anybody's goal. My goal is to be the the best boxer I can be with the time that I was able to do this with excellence. And I really hope that when I retire, I can look back to my last fight and be like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly how I wanted to feel. I'm still very far away from that. I'm not, that convinced, and I'm always searching for not perfection, but to work with much more excellence every day to see where can that excellence take me.
Absolutely, for sure. I got to ask you this. A question from the chat. King Mitch asks, what female fighter do you look up to?
Um, I think that there's a lot of women that have done a great job. Um, when it comes to women, I will say, um, I it's very hard for me to remember the names, but the trainer of Cecilia and a while ago, her name was Riker, Lucia
Yeah.
Riker.
Yeah.
I
Lucia
think
Riker. Yeah.
she's amazing. I
She was
think she's
undefeated, right?
amazing. She was undefeated, yeah. I think that right now Katie Taylor is amazing, right? I have my friends that I love because the way that they do everything in their life and boxing and everything, like Tukibot from Argentina. She is
Yeah.
amazing too. And there's this other woman that is very good, but she's I don't think she gets the credit as much as she should. Um, I don't remember, but she's older now.
Amanda
Also,
Serrano. Is it
no,
Amanda?
no, she was going to fight Kylie Ray's the other day, but she got mad because of I don't know the contract and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember right now, but there's a lot of women. I think that many other women are not even in the radar because they just don't get the exposure. But I'm pretty sure that they're much more amazing women. Lila is an amazing ambassador of women's boxing. I respect her a lot, and I don't know. It's just I have the same respect for all of them because I know what it takes. It's just very difficult. And even though sometimes people say, well, there's not as many women boxers as there are guys. And it's true. And but we know that when it comes to elite athletes, there's not as many either. Because
Correct.
just to be part of the of that community and to remain excellent and to remain auto motivated and stuff is just not something that many people can do. So to be honest, there's not many of us there. So I think it's just pretty much the same.
Hey, I know that Mill St. John, Saint
She's
Mill,
amazing
Mill
too.
St. John, huh?
Me, she's amazing too. I forgot to say that too.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you have the Mill St. John's, the Seal Rikers, Christy Martins, Layla Lee's, Ann Wolf's. It seemed like it was a different style boxing with the heavy hitters. I know that Clarissa Shields and Layla Lee was out here resonating potentially to fight one another. Is that would you even think about fighting a fighter like Layla Lee that was retired undefeated, been out the ring as long as she have, and would you even present that to yourself? Being that she does have a name, you have a name, would you even like a fight like that?
Well, to like, I think anybody will like a fight like that because of what it brings in terms of exposure. To pursue that, I don't think is something that I will do. Um, Clarissa's even she Lila said that Clarissa she's too small for her, so what will she think about me?
Yeah,
Right? And I don't think she'll see the benefit on fighting me at all, right? I we all know that boxing is business, and to these people it's all about business. To me, it will be an honor, and I will be even if I ever get a chance to even do a sparring, it will be just an honor. It's not something that I will think as as something to do and to beat the fans and see if that happens because I don't know, I'm just not like that. But
yeah.
if it was something, the only one that really will get a real benefit from that, it will be me because her name will bring all that attention to me, and I think that we have to be clear on that.
Hey, it definitely would bring attention, but more so the paycheck. It'll probably get you your highest paycheck. I think that's one of the reasons too that Carissa
Yeah.
Shields is venturing to Layla Lee there, Hannah, because it will pretty much boost her value in the sport if she was to get a paycheck. That's the most she's ever received in her boxing career. I know Layla Lee has mentioned 5 million minimal. You know what I'm saying? So I guess for you all, You just need that one fight to boost your pay scale up to a whole nother level, man. Y'all get
Well,
underpaid. Y'all get
you
underpaid
just
with one.
give me, you just wait for the Clarissa and I fight, and you'll see what I got for her.
Okay.
I'm not the same as 2 years ago. I'm telling you, I'm just not. I'm just discovering exactly how to be comfortable in there, and when I was always too rushy, like I feel like and I want to do so much, and I always want to be humble about this because my experience is little compared
Yeah.
to m- m- almost everybody, and I'm just trying to be the best boxer I can be. But there is something about the Clarissa fight that we had 2 years ago, and I know she should have the right to sell the fights the way that she does it and everything. But I also believe that there's more great graceful ways to do it to honor all the other women that are doing the same effort, but they just don't have the backup that she has. And so I want to teach her a lesson.
Yeah, hey, we know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go and be, go against the grain on why I think she would treat you the way that she did. I think it was more so that I don't know, man. She may have a thing with light skinned women, you being easy on the eyes when it comes to boxing. I don't know, but I just thought the jabs that she was throwing towards you was unprovoked. You know what I'm saying? You come off as a very humble person, here and in person. I'm just not sure why she was taking personal jabs at you though.
Well, trust me on this. I don't know if no, you weren't on our way in, right? In Detroit,
Yeah.
you were.
I remember seeing it, but I wasn't there on deck.
Okay. Well, she never did any of that stuff in front of me at any moment. And I remember one of the people that were inside that place. He came and he said to me, "I've never seen her being so quiet." And I
Yeah,
told her, "Well, I am not the same," and she knows it, right? So, um, I believe that at the end, she just don't like people to tell her, that because some people actually believes I won. Some people think that she won and that it was too close, and she was like, "I don't understand. I gave you your respect," and I was like, "No, Clarissa, I earned that respect. You
yeah,
didn't give me nothing, and
correct.
you're not giving me anything. I earned that respect. I took the chance, and because I took that chance, I was stripped from the WBO belt that she has right now. But I
Correct.
didn't lose that, so I'm recovering all of my belts, and I'm gonna be undisputed in my division. And then when I'm done with her in this division, I'll go over there and provoke her to get some more.
So you pretty sure this fight, she's gonna fight you at 54. You pretty sure of that?
She has to, because if she wants to be undisputed, she has to get the WBA belt.
Yeah,
And
I was hearing, Hannah, that they was gonna throw the WBA belt in there. It weren't her, if I'm not mistaken, she was about to have a fight at 54, right? Against
yes,
Dakari.
I guess the care, yeah. But the care is the IBF champion. No WBA, boy.
Yeah, I was hearing though they were saying, "Oh, it's for all the belts," and I was like, "Hold up, Hannah is the WBA champion, world champion. So how
Exactly.
are they going to
So
throw the
it's
belt in there and for undisputed?"
I believe that is a strategy for pressure, you
Okay,
know. But fortunately, being a champion of the WBA for a while now, I've seen um the way that they handle themselves, and I know for a lot of sanction bodies it's about money and about opportunities and sanction fees and all that. But that belt is mine, and if she wants to be undisputed, she has to go through me first, and I'm
Talk
going
to
to
him.
make
Talk to him,
sure
Hannah.
I keep that belt until then.
Hey, I believe you too. I absolutely believe you'll keep it to death. Hey, you know that you're a calm-headed individual. You know, you and your husband both box. How long do you see yourself standing in sport? And are you one of those fighters that plan on pursuing some type of business that's related to boxing once you out the sport? Are you planning on opening up a gym or doing something to continue to stay close to women's boxing, like training females over there in Costa Rica?
We do train people already. We have a process for an Olympic process. We have about 14 teenagers, and we believe four of them are prospects for world titles in the professional. They have the advantage that they have is that they've been learning Brian's style of fighting from the beginning. So that style is very difficult to manage, and is it's taking me a long time to understand it. Like it took me a long time to understand it, and right now I'm able to bring it to my own style. But my I have different projects coming in. Like I said, boxing is my platform to do many other stuff. I know that I'm not gonna get paid, never like the big names in the male boxing fights and everything. But right now I'm also an instructor for empowerment and self-defense for women and for kids, and I am working on my foundation so that I can build a violence prevention center in Costa Rica that hopefully will be a Latin American sede, a place where Latin American countries can come, um, and we will certificate more instructors so that we can um, bring all of these tools to every community, and I'm also a high profile collaborator for ACNUR, or for the United Nations Agency for Refugees.
Yeah.
And so next year I will apply for my goodwill ambassador, um, goodwill ambassador thing, name, or I don't know how you say it. And my passion is actually the social work, and I believe that being a champion is a great way to bring attention to me, because people admire you for those kind of stuff. But it's a great hook for me um to make them understand, or to teach them that they're just as valuable, that they are just as great, that we all have the possibility and the capability of being extraordinary. And also we have the capability of being ordinary, right? It's all
Yeah.
about decision. It's all about commitment. It's all about the way you see yourself. And sometimes the way we see ourselves is just in a very punishing way, right? And we don't give ourselves the chance to be all that much. And I've been in that place, and being a champion just give me, that attention from people, where I can actually show them, or talk to them about who I am, and how they can actually also get to grab their dreams and all of their goals, and work in their better version every day, and it's just I believe we're alive here to make that happen. We are supposed to be happy, and we are supposed to feel great about what we do, and about what we are able to give as well.
Hannah, speaking about being a better version of yourself, on a more serious note, using your platform, I know you've been vocal about the abuse that you received when you was younger, and you have been, speaking to others about that. Do you mind, telling those who are tuned in to World Combat Sports about, your empowerment to from being abused as an adolescent to how it changed you as a person in life?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start with we don't need trauma. We don't need trauma to be good people, right? We are we are all born, and we are all have the possibility of being great and amazing, and noble, and just great people. But unfortunately, we feed ourselves sometimes with the worst we can find, and some people are just living and reacting, and they're just they don't care about what they do, and sometimes it's about feeling their needs, even though if they hurt a person, and if that hurt is for life. um I was 5 years old when I was sexually abused by somebody that was really trusted by my parents, and I the way it happened, he asked me to protect him, and as a 5 year old, I didn't know that what happened was wrong, so I silenced myself, and I never said anything. Fortunately, I found track and field at the time, and I didn't have to deal with that wound wound wound
Yeah.
wound
Hmm.
and I was able to be everything I wanted to be in that space. I always said that it was my safe place. When I um, turned 15, I had an injury that retired me from track and field about when I was 17, and I was supposed to never do sports again. And I always tell people that in that moment I was devastated, because everything I wanted in life had to do with becoming a world or Olympic champion, and suddenly I wasn't able to. My family was in bankrupt. My dad and my mom were alcoholics at the time, and they left. My sister and I were in charge of the two little ones, that brother and sister that we had, and we almost lost our house. It was a lot of things going on, and
Yeah.
I was devastated, and I started living my life thinking that sometimes the good things only happen to some, and that maybe I wasn't one of them, and I finally had to deal with that Hannah with that big wound, and I didn't want it to. So I tried to ignore it, and I started being my best self destruct my best self-destructed self. No, my
Yeah.
best self-destruct I don't know. So yeah, I you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I was like that for about, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years of my life. I went into a relationship where I experienced domestic violence, not physical, but yes, emotional and verbal violence, which is worst, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I was a little bit obese. I was around 206 pounds, and that's how I got into boxing. 4 years later, I uh, I entered an emotional crisis, because I knew that the results of my life at the time were everything I didn't want it, everything I didn't expect from for myself. I felt disappointed. I felt mad. I felt tired and exhausted about, feeling bad about myself and feeling bad about everything that was going on. And um, I was forced to see inside, to look inside. And that introspective had me learn the lesson that yes, many of the things that happened in my life took me there, but as soon as I became an adult, I always had the opportunity to make better decisions, and I didn't. So there was a very big part of all that was actually my fault. And to take the quote of, you have to take your own quote of responsibility so that you can recognize where you have been doing wrong for yourself. And I made the decision that if I was going to work with excellence each day and every day to see where that excellence could take me, because the other option was to become one of them people that um criticizes and hates on others and believes that success has come to them easy, and they want that success for themselves, but they don't want to even move one finger. And I hated to think that I could be in that spot because I knew I wouldn't be able to live, you know, with that. Um, I wouldn't be able to live like that. So I knew that if I ever came to that spot, I would probably suicide myself. And I always say to people, I don't know if I would be that brave towards death and that coward towards life. But at the time, it was something that I thought that I could do. And I gave myself a chance. I accepted God as my savior, Christ as my savior, and I finally started looking up and giving myself a chance to see what God had for me and what was the purpose. And for many, many years, I asked myself, why me? Why this happened like that? Why I wasn't able to make it in track and field? And many of those answers have been um, responded or answered with time. And right now, I know that if I would have become a world champion in track and field, it's not that I didn't have the ability to do it. It was just I wasn't mature enough and I wasn't ready to be the Hanna Gabriels that I'm right now and that is able to
Mhm.
touch lives and to have empathy and to understand that most people are affected by the system that we have. The system is actually done for us not to be able to make it, and we have to focus on giving ourselves the tools to for emotional healing and for emotional intelligence so that we can heal, so that we can grow, but so that we can share those too with the younger generations because they really need it. And a generation that is based on respect, love, empathy, solidarity, those values is always a generation that can bring the best out of themselves from the individuality and to take it to the collect collectivity. That's how you say it? Collectividad.
Collectivity. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of these things that happened to me and many others, um, is not that I'm happy that it happened because it was a lot of hardship and I did a lot of stupid things, but somehow I believe that a person that has gone through all has much more credibility that the one that stands there judging everybody and saying, everything should be done like this and that and blah blah blah, and they're actually hiding as much of themselves because sometimes they just have to look like something.
Yeah.
So I try to be very honest about the person that, my life and everything, because I know that if somebody identifies with my story, at least they can see in me that it is possible to be better and that it is possible to go further. And even though if things didn't happen as you wanted, because the narrative is, yes, fight and do sacrifices and you will make it and blah blah blah, but if you don't make it, that's okay, because if you have one more day to live, you still have one more chance to find what is it that you were brought to this earth to do, and to do well, so that's a little bit of my story. I didn't want it to I was trying to do it a little fast so people don't get too bored, but yeah, more or less it's like
No,
that.
we're not bored, Hannah. I thank you for sharing a place in your heart on how you've grown and learned from your experience. All of us are imperfect. You know what I'm saying? All of us are imperfect. And it's not something that judgment is going to be placed upon you. But
Oh, it's okay.
I appreciate you sharing with many who will tune in to this video and hear your message. You know what I'm saying? I truly appreciate you sharing that with us.
No problem. It's my pleasure. I hope that if somebody was if somebody needed to hear something like this, because usually when I tell my story, somebody, receives it, and it's not about me, it's about them. And somehow God finds a way to tell them what they need to hear. So I hope that I don't know, it works for somebody and it gives them a little light of how great they actually are.
Yeah, it will. I'm pretty sure that Hannah, for sure. You know, taking it back on boxing, I truly appreciate you sharing your story with us. Salute to you for being strong, and I really hope you're out here spreading the word. Continue to be that ambassador for boxing. Real talk. They need you out here, Hannah, to continue to
Thank you
speak
so much.
to those upcoming boxers, those female boxers that's out here. I want to ask you, what is one story that's out there that we don't know about that you've experienced in your boxing career that you just shake your head to?
Oh, like to me, like what happened to me, like
Yeah, something good or bad, something good in your career that we may not know about that you just shake your head and say, I can't believe that happened, or I can believe it happened.
well, you know, I think the whole journey is unbelievable in so many ways. And at some point, in life, people that I believe that people usually comes to your life with great intentions, and in time, when we give ourselves the opportunity to feel envy, to be mad about stuff that maybe are misunderstandings, or you don't have the ability to communicate well and whatever, or you have expectations, some things get rotten, and people change their intentions in the way. So I used to be mad at some people, um but now I understand that is about cycles. So I'm not really worried about those things. I'm happy that some cycles I'm happy that all the cycles started because they had all of them had a purpose in my life and in their life.
Yeah.
And I'm happy also about the cycles that ended because they needed to end. And I always say to people, is no need to talk probably about how I felt betrayed about this person, or how I felt like this about this other situation. Because we are in this life, in this journey, to learn how to not fall into those things. Sometimes people do things and they don't even know they're hurting, or they don't even know they're being um they're betraying you or stuff like that. They don't have that level of consciousness, you know. So I believe that I am that person for many others as well. You know, some people, many people must feel that I betrayed them, or that I wasn't loyal, or that I lied to them, and many of those things can be a misunderstanding. Many of those things can be true.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'm just trying to be better every day. I have a lot of better understanding of how my words and my actions can actually affect in a positive or negative way to the people that surrounds me. So I have many years working on being very, very aware of that, and much more careful about the way that I handle certain situations, or the way I treat people, or I allow them to treat me. So good and bad is all good, to be honest. Um I've had always only had one promoter. He did a good job. I didn't like his job later because of some things, and um we stopped working. I worked by myself for a long time. Then the other people worked with me, um and they stabbed me in the back and all that, and they felt like I owed them more and all these things, and time only will tell. To be honest, I'm not an angel, but I'm never trying to do any harm in a intentional way. So I'm not justifying anything, and I'm not blaming on anybody anything. Everybody will have to deal with their own checks sooner or later.
Checks and balances. Yep. True. Hey, boxing is never about morals and principles, Hannah. It never will be. It's too broad. The scope is just too wide of a perimeter for it to have morals and principles in the sport. You know what I'm saying? My last question. You hear the guys. Speaking of the greatest of all time. Who do you consider your greatest of all time when it comes to women boxing? Who do you think is the greatest of all time?
I think that only time will tell, and it depends on the how do you say that? It is never greatest of all time, because times are different. The mentality of people is different. The way that things are viewed, or the perception of some things are different, and so I think is unfair to even say, you know, to even put one over all those things, or under all of those things. So I believe each person that has a point of view could have their greatest of all time in their own opinion. Um, I don't think we have seen the greatest of all time in women yet, because we just don't know. Until this earth is over, then I think somebody should say, or somebody could have that title. But as long as time is going, there always can be a better one. And but I can tell
What
you
would you
this.
think?
But I can tell you this. Um, Muhammad Ali, uh, his his work, his intelligence, his the way that he was able to make people think and encounter themselves, with all of the things that were happening at the time, I think is amazing. I think he was the greatest of all time in boxing when it comes to expressing about liberty, about, you know, uh, having a pride for yourself and your culture and the impact that that could have. I think he's truly, he really stands out. It's just amazing.
I appreciate that. Collectively, what you just mentioned and said, it has to do with what your accomplishments are in the ring as well as out the ring and put them
Exactly.
together.
Yeah,
Being the greatest. Yeah.
yeah. And when it comes to the greatest woman of all time, we'll see. But I think that the word woman is so wide, it's so complex that you can just not make it about it's somebody that can throw punches and win titles. I think you have to be much more. But Clarissa is actually very young, and I believe that with time she'll get the maturity, and hopefully she, with all the backup that she has, with all the team that she has behind, she can actually, if she wants, make a big difference, and not only for herself. So I'm hoping that she can actually take advantage of that opportunity, not only for herself but for the rest.
Sound words there, Hannah. It makes all the sense in the world. I mean, I agree with you when you say it's different times, different eras, and people look at
Yeah.
it different. You got social media. People kind of judge you off social media. Like if how many followers you got and how much of an influence you're going to be on boxing. Instead of just looking at the character and who you are as a person. I get it. I get it. You know. Any final words you have to say to your fans there, Hanna Gabriel? Appreciate you for stopping through World Combat Sports. Any final words you have to say to your fight fans out there who support you?
Any followers? What do you mean? I don't know.
Your fans, your supporters, your supporters.
Oh, what can I tell them?
Yes, your final words to those who support Hanna Gabriels, tune in to you, follow you on
I like
IG.
I like to say to everybody, you know, like I said, the system is not built for us to make it. But we are in an era where the information is out there for us, and we have to use that wisely. Um, I know that we are tired. I know that sometimes we just don't want to think about anything, and that is good. We should take the time to, distract ourselves and have fun and everything. But most times should be directed to nurture ourselves and our brains and our hearts and our spirits. And 2020 has been a very difficult year, and in a financial way, yes, it's been very hard. But I believe that the hardest part is the one that we are not able to see, because we are all a whole different world here. And the hardest battle is happening here, and it's happening here. And I know that there's a lot of people thinking about suicide, and I know that there's a lot of people thinking that they are not able to take it no more, that they're not seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. And I just want you to remember that your purpose is bigger than what you can ever imagine. And do not take from yourself the biggest treasure that you have. Wait until it's taken, and make the best out of your days. Even if you don't feel good, even if you don't feel um uh if you don't feel merecedores, worthy of it. You are worthy of it. You are worthy of the best. And there is a lot for all of us in our future, in our near future. But that also comes with a price that we have to pay when we put our mind to it, when we commit to it. Nothing that has a real value comes easy. Um, and when it comes to the gratification and the satisfaction from the heart and from the soul, the prices get higher. So just be brave. Give yourself a chance um, to experience what all of those gifts that are waiting for you. And some of the gifts haven't been given to you because you're not ready. And sometimes we have to discover more of ourselves to be able to receive it. So just give yourself a chance. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support. I'm just hoping that I can uh, fill up the purpose that I was brought to this earth to be alive for, and um, I hope that you find that too. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, no, thank you, Hannah. I look forward to speaking with you, sometime in the future when you do have another fight. And also, it's been my pleasure, and for my listeners who have tuned in, once again, they have learned a lot more about Hanna Gabriel, the multi-time world champion. Hearing your backstory and seeing how special you are as a person. I respect where you're coming from with your message because I feel it's from a genuine place. You know what I'm saying? So that warms me a bit different speaking to you as an athlete, as media and everything like that. So I appreciate it. I thank you for pulling up on the holidays. I want to send a holiday shout out and wishes to you and your family once again. And hopefully you are safe during this COVID. And stay positive there, Hannah. Look forward to
Thank,
seeing you back in the ring.
thank you. We will be there very soon, and I just hope that whoever is here watching us today, that I can boxing is about entertaining you and for you to enjoy the fight. So I really hope that every time I get into the ring, you're able to enjoy the fight. That's that will be a beautiful, beautiful present for me to be a part of your memories like that. So thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome there, Hannah, and thank you for stopping through. Much appreciated. I truly enjoyed it. And until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. That was the one and only super welterweight world champion, Hanna Gabriel. She holds the WBA crown, and also she was a welterweight champion also. So, and also formerly unified. So it's always a pleasure, man, having the opportunity to interview these fighters again. I had the chance to interview her in person, like I said earlier, Madison Square Garden when her husband was fighting on the card. Very sweet individual, genuine. Um, you get that sense of spirit coming from her that she's in a good place. And, when she speaks to you, it kind of touches you in a way, you know what I'm saying? So she's always the best interview when it comes to the female fighters that I've interviewed, always, bar none. So thank you very much for stopping through, and especially those who pulled up in the live chat, man. World Combat Sports salute you during the holidays as always. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for dropping your comments in there. I appreciate it. This to me, if it can be that way every day with the interviews like this, it will be worth it. You know what I'm saying? This is what holds the value to me. SB90 in the building. Salute Alexander. What's good? Mitch said, I like her views on the greatest moniker speaking the truth. The more she speaks, the more I like her. That's usually not the case. You know, Mitch out there spitting that fire. The more she speaks, the more I like this. That's not the case. Shout out to World Combat Sports. Great convo with the Queen. For real, you know, solid conversation with Hanna Gabriel. And shout out to her husband and her family during the holidays, man. She was about to fight on the undercard of Carissa Shields and Dakari. And like she said, Vegas shut down. I'm not sure if you all heard, but in certain areas, they're shutting down again. I mean, that's crazy, man, especially when it comes to the boxers. That's absolutely crazy. You know, they're about to go through a drought in certain areas again. But this is what I want to let y'all know. I'm about to close this out, right? But I'm going to be back on. I'm going to be right back on for the Gabriel Rosado and Daniel Jacobs fight. I got to see that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna continue this video. I want to shut this down, and then I'll be right back on for the Daniel Jacobs, Daniel Jacobs, Gabriel Rosado fight on the zone. Salute to everyone who pulled up. Thank you.